world. Patricia, O'Connor, and Frida Reba Dorsey here. Today on the Bonsai balcony, we have ourselves a beautiful fall day. It's a little warm up here on the fourth floor, but at ground level, I gotta say, I was just out there and it was pretty nice. This was also take 3. We had a little technical issue, so Frida is accepting her third rounder per diem. Good for her. Those weren't her issues. She was on her mark all 3 times, so yeah, that's how that worked. What we are looking at is the beginning of our fall. And in a lot of ways, there's not, here in my little part of California, there's not a lot of difference between fall and full-blown summer some days. For instance, a lot of years, like last year, October was our hottest month. We got above 90 several times last October. And there's no reason to think, and since that's happened before in October, there's no reason to believe that we don't have that in our future again. But the trees have already started responding to the light and the time of season, regardless of what our temps say. As we can see by several things. One, my cypress trees are beginning to make decisions as to what spring foliage had actually paid off and what hadn't. That little pre-rusty color you see deep inside of the tree are those things that the tree is saying, hey, from here on out, it's just going to be less and less. So we're done with you. Thank you for all your help. And then it starts casting off things that haven't been netting the most solar activity, or haven't been getting the most photosynthesis or any of that stuff. So at this point of the year, we start seeing some things on our cypress trees that indicate that it's starting to recognize the change of season. Also, some of our pines will start to look a little less than perfect. I'm looking at my Ponderosa, but I'm not looking at it to show you anything. I'm just we're both looking at it at the same time. I'm looking at it a little bit longer than I looked at it earlier today. And I do what, Pat? I see that we're getting ready to start shedding some third-year needles. I also see continued push of growth and stuff on other areas of the tree. So we are proceeding nicely. Our new growth is still doing nicely. We still are excited, very excited, in fact, about the future of that green tape that you can make out there, because those have Japanese black pine grafts underneath them. We get to uncover those in November. I'm really excited about that. Okay, so also about this time, somewhere between now and any time I get really good and ready, or need or want to just do a great show, it could be time from here on out to prune back either one of my oaks. This one I would have been waiting till fall, which could be now. These things that are too long. On my cork bark oak, they were also too long probably months ago. And by cutting them back then, they will have already vibricated off and started a new round. Not so with this guy. We're supposed to let everything go until fall and then cut it back. We're still seeing a little bit of growth there on the ends and stuff. But from here out, we kind of have open rein to go in here and do this. Like I said, about third-year needles. Our pines are looking really, for the most part, are looking really good. We are going to have our losses this year. It's a little Ponderosa. I'm not sure why it succumbed. It didn't get anything different than the ones to either side of it got. But it was the one that decided this year that it was done. It could be, and I have to remind myself that these 10 little Ponderosa seedlings that I got were an experiment to see at what extent, when people said they may or may not do well here, I have a lot invested in that, and I have a lot invested in that little Yamadori that, I don't know if you can see that little Yamadori Ponderosa right there. So I wanted to know, so I got 10 trees, and the idea wasn't to buy 10 sacrificial trees to just see if they die or not, but to see whether or not we would be allowed to keep them and see whether or not if they were adaptable to here and all of that other stuff. So we started with 10 that were very vigorous, and we still have most of those. And most of those are still looking vigorous and healthy. But out of the blue, during the height of my illness, so I may have played a part in this, we lost the Pondo. And I'm going to keep an eye out to watch and see how the others are doing. The 2 Yamadoris that I've already pointed out, I have taken measures to protect them from the seasonal changes that I was warned could cause these trees problems. For instance, I took one up to Northern California last winter so that it could overwinter there, so that it wouldn't run itself into the ground. That was the large one. The smaller one, I gave it the cold hardy hours that it was supposed to need by actually using the refrigerator. I would wait till it doesn't have to be all at once, it can be accumulative. So I would wait till we had an overall chilly day here in the Bay Area, and I would take, and as the temperatures went from 50s to from 60s to high 50s or something, I would take it down a little colder by putting it in the top of the refrigerator after dark with the door open so that it still got a good air exchange. And then before I would go to bed, I would move it from there to a towel and then put it in the freezer portion with the door also partially open, wasting electricity, I know. But we weren't going to take the thing too far, we weren't going to take the thing to zero, but we were going to take it to the high 20s for about 8 hours. And then when my alarm told me to get my butt up and go to work, I would go to the refrigerator first thing, pop that out of there and put it back in the refrigerator where it would be coming back up to 50s. And by the time I walked out the door to go to work, it'd be back out on the balcony where it was also 50. So I did that a couple of times to accumulate a few dozen hours of cold temperatures, and that in theory will have helped us. We're in wait and see on that. Hello, little bird. What we're looking at now is my Dawn Redwood. It's been allowed to go just nuts this year, and being allowed to do that means that it had no problem doing so. So that's been a good run. We've had a good run with that. When it comes to our little pines, when it comes to our little Japanese black pines, we're about to enter a portion where we are going to start repotting in bonsai pots some of these guys. Y'all saw me do one a couple of nights ago. That's going to be more and more and more of these guys are going to start finding their way into bonsai pots and start getting added to our collection. I'm really looking forward to that. And when the temperatures give us a little bit more, well, we can actually start that anytime. I'll probably not do a Saturday Night Live Bonsai on that. Tonight will be Saturday Night Live Bonsai. I see me bringing in my coastal oak, and doing some fall pruning on that. So for those of you who will be tuning in for Saturday Night Live Bonsai, expect to see that going on this afternoon. It is also time to rotate these guys, and I gotta say this little guy has been coming back pretty nice. It's a little yellow on this side, but this guy has been coming back really nice and has been really enjoying the space here where it is now. It's looking really nice and green, and I'm just really glad the way that has worked out. My Ponderosas, for the most part, seem to be loving their space here on the rail as well, and my larger Japanese court bark black pine seems to be thriving there. But this is the time of year where we should be able to go through and maybe clean out some of our third year needles. This is also a good time to go through and clean out some of the under stuff. Even when it comes to the Ponderosas, we want to try to get our needle length shorter. So we want to keep an abundance of needles as possible. But even having said that, this would still be the time of year to do a little bit of cleanup if we were going to go that route. Yeah, this has been mostly pines and stuff, but it is a good time of year to start doing cutting back some of the new growth on your oaks, for instance. It would also be a good time for some of us to start cutting. You could, from here on out, start pruning back your bald cypress. I don't want to wreck the foliage on there. I want it to continue to photosynthesize. And when the whole tree turns that beautiful, what I call rusty iron red, that's a really pretty look. And a couple of weeks of that and it starts getting really ratty looking. But they're in the first of it, they just glow. They just glow with this red against the backdrop of other green. And I wouldn't do anything to mess that up. So for that reason, I tend to wait a little, while also the tree seems to be responding. I'm looking at a lot of bumps on here, like it's about to decide to put out another really big flush. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. Like and subscribe if you guys have not already. Our next drop will be tonight when we do Saturday Night Live Bonsai. And that should be a nice show. I look forward to getting back into the swing of things. And we are kind of back into a little bit of a rhythm here. We're getting back into the swing. The last little bit of residual recuperation that I've had to do has caused me to want to up my sleep to try to hurry the healing along. I don't really feel sleepy, but I would rather heal quickly and then get back to the state of game that I had before. And that's kind of where I've been for the last couple of days. But I have lots of material to catch up on, and I'm really looking forward to it. I appreciate you. Frida appreciates you. And thank you so much for watching.